Hey everybody, Cynthia here. I am currently working on graduation cards. I have friends, they're, they have kids that are graduating. My niece is graduating. Yay! I'm so proud of her. And I was looking up graduation cards and I saw some really cute fun fold cards, but oh my gosh, I didn't even want to try it. So I kind of just did a little prototype here because I wanted to be able to not only have a card but to hold a gift card or money. So I wrote all the measurements out and this is how they turned out. This is my one friend's daughter's school colors, and I did 2021 with my Cricut. I made this really cute tassel. I made this button for the graduation cap from cardstock, and we're going to do this all together. And I made the congrats and this little cute diploma. Isn't that cute? I used the Create a Cricut 2 Cricut cartridge to do this. So I'll give you the measurements of those if you're going to use your Cricut to create yours. But you could pretty much decorate it how you want. I am going to show you how to put the card together. And then up top in the cap, I stamped a little something happy day just for you. And I just have one of my Hobby Lobby gift cards in here as an example so that you can see you can fit a gift card in it. And if you don't want to do a gift card, I have another one. This is my other friend's daughter's school colors. Did the same basic thing, but instead of putting a gift card in it, I just folded, this is the only thing I had on me today. I folded a $5 bill in there, but whatever you're giving as a gift, you could fold it this way so that it fits. I tried to just leave it like this, but it's stuck out on the corners here. And if you don't want to fold it, fold the bottom that way, you could always fold it this way and pop it in like that. Completely up to you. So you can either put money in the top or a gift card, whatever you choose to do. But this is so super simple. I think the longest thing that it took me was to do the actual Cricut cuts and create the tassel, but I made a really simple tassel so it doesn't take long at all, and we're going to do that first and then we're going to make the card. Okay, so let's get started. The 2021 I did on my Cricut with it has like numbers and letters already stored in it, and I sized these at 3/4 of an inch. And then for the congrats and the little diploma, that is from the Create a Critter 2. I sized this at 1 inch and this at 1.25 inches. Okay, in case you want to do it, yours. And this is just a stamp set I had in my stash. You could stamp anything you want or not. Just write to and from, whatever you choose. But I just have some yarn embroidery, that floss that they have to create this. Now, when you're making a tassel, pretty much the length of your tassel depends on the length of your cardstock or cardboard that you use. Mine's 2.25 inches, and as you can see, my tassel here is about 1.75 to 2 inches. This one was actually, I think, 1.75 inches, and this one came out almost 2 inches. So it just maybe size it in between there. I did a 2.25 piece because I like a little bit extra just in case I mess up. I'd rather go back and trim than not have enough. But that's just me. So if you want a longer tassel, make sure that your piece that you're going to be wrapping your yarn or embroidery floss, whatever you want to use, to make your tassel is long enough. You know, if you want a 5-inch long tassel, this should be 5 inches at least. Okay, so up at the top, I just started with the end piece here. And then I'm going to wrap it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And I'm going to end it at the top where I began it and cut that off. This is actually going to be the bottom of my tassel. So I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to take another, I hate when I lose my, it's all unwound on me, but I hate when I lose my end. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take this with my tweezers, and I'm just going to slide it through and tie a knot at the top. So where we began and ended it, those 2 loose pieces are down here at the bottom. And I'm going to tie a knot at the top. I usually do about 2 or 3 knots. Nice and tight. And I did leave a little extra, but this is the part that's actually going to, this is going to be the hanging part here. So you can always trim that later. You want to make sure you leave yourself enough room for that. Okay, so we have this tied off at the top, and then down at the bottom, all you need to do is slide your scissors in and cut it off your card. Okay, and then I held it at the top, and I just kind of comb this down a little. And this is a thin, this is like a small thin tassel. If I was making a tassel for like, say my scrapbooking or a purse charm, this would obviously be a lot fuller. But because of the size of the card, I made it a lot thinner and smaller. So I'm going to go down about a good 1/2 inch, and I'm going to just wind this embroidery floss around a couple times. And then I'm cut it and tie it off. There's all different kinds of ways you can make these. I've made ones with beads on top and all kinds of other things. I think I might actually have a video showing some of them that I've made before. But there's tons of tutorials out there, so if you're interested, just put in, you know, yarn tassels or ribbon tassels, and a ton of videos will come up for tutorials. Beaded tassels. I just wanted to keep this super simple. It's just for my card. So we have the top of our tassel, and we have the embroidery floss around. And now this is just a little too long for me, so I'm gonna clean this up with my scissors, because I definitely want this to be a lot shorter. And I'm just gonna trim that off, and let's see, let's size it up. Maybe a little bit more there. Make sure the edges are nice and trimmed up. And that's it, guys. That is a super simple tassel for a graduation card or a graduation hat. Let me get this stuff put aside, and we will start on the card. So your card base should measure 9 3/4 by 4 1/4. So from one sheet of, I think it's 8 1/2 by 11, you should be able to, well, not really, you can't make 2 cards from one sheet because you're going to be cutting another piece, but You could get 2 cards and then use some scraps for the extra. But let me go ahead and line this up. So it's 9 3/4 by 4 1/4, and you're going to line it up and score at 5 1/2, and that's it. Put your scoreboard aside. You're going to fold up your card. So you have the top flap here. That's what we're going to be working with the cap. And I see that my battery is dying, so let me quick change my batteries and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I thought I had enough life in those batteries, but alas, I did not. Okay, so we're going to work with this top piece first. You're going to need another sheet for your cap, and this should measure 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And basically we are going to line it up on top of this. You want the edge of the point to line up with the bottom of the card, and then you want to make sure it's centered just like that. So this pointy edge should come to your bottom edge here, and you want to make sure you have the same amount on each side. Okay, and you can lay it down and look at it if you have to. And then when you add your glue, you pretty much just want to add a little bit in here and the point, because we're going to be cutting some of the edges off, and you don't want to you don't want to have glue sticking out. You can always go back and add a little bit of glue later, and I'll show you how I do that. Very easy to do. Okay, that looks pretty balanced. You press it down. I'm going to open it up, run my bone folder over it. Okay, so it should look like that. Then what you're going to do is take your scissors and you're going to cut these corners off. So that corner there, that corner there. Open it up, trim off this corner, and this corner here. Okay, super simple, right? Now, if you open the card back up, you can see that I still have to do some gluing. It's much easier if you trim it first. So I'm just going to stick my glue in here, run a little bit along there, and press it down. Same thing on this side. Just going to put my glue in and run it along and press it down. Okay, so the top part here is where we're going to add our gift card holder. So the blue piece that I have on here measures, or the actual gift card holder measures 4 1/4 by 1 1/2, and then the white mat that I put on top of it measures 4 by 1 1/4. Now these bottom 2 points here, okay, you're going to want to line them up. Let me see if I can get my tweezers so I could show you the point. You're going to want to line it up with this point here on the card, not down here, right here where the card stock is, and right here at this edge. So when you lay it down, you want your point there, and your other point there. Okay, if you put it down any further, like here, you'll see it from the other side. So you can always go by that too. When you go to lay it down and center it, just make sure you're right above that edge there. You don't want to go too high, and the reason being, if you go too high, your gift card will stick out on top. So you definitely want to take your time and make sure you put this bottom corner to the edge here and the edge here, just so that it's not sticking out on this side or this side. Also, I don't suggest double-sided sticky tape. It's too thick. You want to do a super thin line of glue on the very bottom of this piece, and that way your gift card will fit in and not stick out. Okay. Let me line this up. Here and here. Okay. Make sure that looks okay. I don't want to crook it. Okay, and then I'm going to run my bone folder over it. Now you're going to want to let that dry. And then once it's dry, you can put your bone folder in and just run the tip of this along the bottom pocket very gently, just to loosen it up so that you're able to slide your gift card in and out easily. And as you can see, I did it down far enough so that my gift card points weren't sticking out and you couldn't see it from this side. Okay, so we'll test this one when we're done. Okay, so that's done. Let that dry. And now we have our card base. Our card base measures, or our card mat measures, 4 inches by 5 1/4. And then all I do is I kind of line it up to see where I want to glue it down. And then as you can tell here on the corners, I have to take this corner off and this corner off. So before I glue it, I line it up. And then I'm going to hold it, and all I'm going to do is slide my scissor in and nip that corner off. Turn it around. Slide my scissor in and nip that corner off. And that's it. It's ready to glue down. Okay, and we're almost there. I'm going to fold the card up and line up my congrats and my little diploma here. These are my niece's school colors. So stinking proud of her. I'm also thinking about making her one of those explosion box scrapbooks for her graduation photos. So if I get it made, I'll definitely come back and share it with you guys how it turned out. I think for that I'm just going to do like black and white. I haven't really decided yet. Okay, so I have my diploma glued down and my congrats sentiment. Now I'm going to want to put, I call it a button, in the center and my tassel on. But before I do that, I made my button super simple. I'm going to share that with you. Took my 1/2 inch circle punch and I punched out 8 circles. You can do as many as you want depending on how high your button is. But it's a 1/2 inch, and then you can see how thick it is with 8 of them. And I thought that was a pretty nice height to it. So I'm just going to do like 2 or 3 as an example, but you definitely want to do at least 8 of them. And then all I did was take one, add some glue, and I just kept gluing the layers on top of each other until I got it high, you know, the height that I wanted. and that's all I did. Okay, so I did 8 of those, and I'll show you how I put a little bit of glitter glue on top of it just so it would sparkle, but I want you to see the thickness. So I felt like 8 was enough. You could do more if you want. It's, you know, personal preference, entirely up to you. Okay, so I have my 8, and I'm just gonna lay this here for now. I'm not gonna glue it yet because I want to glue my numbers on. So usually before I glue the numbers, I just set that on there so I have like a reference of where I kind of want to place my numbers. Okay, and I'm going to start with the 1. I love to lay my things out before I glue them because I used to, when I first started, just started gluing things down, and I was like, well, that's kind of wonky and doesn't look right. So now I kind of do it this way just so that I make sure it's the look I want. And even then I still mess up, so, you know, it is what it is. We all try our best. Let me see. Move that over a little bit. Okay, so now that I have that on, I'm going to turn this around and just add a little... Oh, my hot glue's not working. Okay. So add a little bit of the glue. You don't need hot glue. It was easier to get my tassel where I wanted it with the hot glue. But I'm going to lay my tassel down. And right underneath it is where you want to glue your tassel. I had to lift it there because I messed that up a little bit. Okay. Come over this way a little. That looks pretty good, and I'm going to press down and just hold it there a second because I'm using liquid glue. And then, like I said, I took a little bit of the clear glue, glitter glue, and I'm going to add some glitter to the top button piece here. It just kind of makes it stand out a little bit more. And I'm going to add it right here to the diplomas ribbon and let it dry. And that's it, guys. That's how I made my card. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And like I said, once this inside dries completely, just take your bone folder and kind of loosen up the bottom a little bit to make sure it's loose enough that you can slide your gift card right in. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching. You take care, and like I said, any questions, let me know. Happy crafting!